Good Tuesday morning. Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is Jeremy coming at you live once again with Redtired Podcast. And I brought another friend along with me. He's an Army veteran. His name is Bill. Now, Bill and I have been trying to do this for quite some time, and it seems like every time that we record something, something goes awry, which just goes to show you we're already setting precedent for everything that Bill touching completely turns to.
Well, it's not that bad.
Hi, Bill.
I mean, hi. Thank you for the intro. It's real great.
Oh, yeah, it's what I do, man. Intros are fun. Jacob's intros, you've heard a few of them from time to time, I'm sure. Well, they usually they always kind of have a little bit of spunk to them, but here lately I've been kind of dropping off and forgetting that I'm supposed to be doing some kind of a fancy intro for him in the first place. And it's just like the last one, I think I was like, this is Jacob. He looks better than he smells. Hi, Jacob.
Hi, this is Bill, and he's a normal guy.
And he's got a wonderful reflection on his glasses. For those of you who can't tell, we just got him started on this, so he's using I think it's a Logitech gaming headset, and it actually sounds okay.
Oh, the headset is Turtle Beach.
It's Turtle Beach.
The camera is Logitech, whatever.
Logitech. Yeah, I know what the camera is. I gave it to you.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't need to brag about it.
I'm a giving person. That's what I do. It always comes back to me. So, Bill, I assume since today is November 5th, you're going to be going out and you're going to be voting.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's a good man. I'm going to take a stab in the dark here and say that you've been tuning in to Redtired Podcast. And so you're probably very well versed and well educated on all the propositions that are being put forward in Texas. No? Okay.
If I say no, is it bad?
Well, it's not good for you, but okay. The big dog that we need to talk about is Proposition 4. Are you familiar with it? I've
heard a little bit of it mentioned from you and from the other people, and that's about it. That's my extent on it. Not very much.
Okay, so Texas Proposition 4 is actually, it's referring to a state income tax. Now, to me, that's kind of a dangerous thing in the first place because, a lot of us live in Texas because we don't like income tax. We kind of push towards the exact opposite. We're like, no, less tax is always better for the economy. It drives the economy. It makes it so that things are healthy and moving and ebbing and flowing appropriately. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of the income tax. So the problem here, what we run into with the problem with Proposition 4 is Proposition 4 has been worded very, very poorly. And typically you would think, okay, well, I wouldn't want any propositions for income tax to go through, so I'm going to vote no. Well, here's the danger with Proposition 4 is if you vote no on Prop 4, you're actually saying, yes, I would welcome income taxes in Texas.
Wait, say that one more time.
Proposition 4. The way that Proposition 4 is worded, a yes vote means that you don't want taxes.
That doesn't make sense.
I know, but it's the way that it was worded, and I've pulled it up in the past. In fact, if you'd like, I can pull it up over here on a website that I used recently. Is called ballotpedia.org. And the basic proposition, here's how this plays out. The Texas state constitution requires the state legislature to put legislation enacting an income tax before voters as a statewide referendum, i.e. we come together and vote, which voters can approve or reject. Okay, so this is all Texas constitutional, and we can't just allow them to come in and start doing a state income tax, right? Mm-hmm. Proposition 4 would replace the referendum requirement with a ban on enacting an income tax on individuals. Since Proposition 4's ban on an income tax would be a provision of the Texas Constitution, a 2/3 vote in each legislative chamber and a statewide referendum would be needed to repeal or amend the ban. Does any of that make any sense to you yet? It sounds kind of...
So, Jeremy, let me just tell you how my day's going so far, and this should answer your question. I had trouble spelling, because I had some brain farts today, because we all have that. I have trouble spelling the word bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy. democracy in university today. I just had brain farts and I was just there, just like on my phone, like, this doesn't sound right. So they're hitting me with all these words. And to quote Kevin Hart from a movie, he said, "You hit me with a bunch of terminology that I don't know, so I'm going to take it as a threat." Like, all it's going to do is just kind of frustrate. Cause I mean, like I said, I'm not the brightest guy in the bunch here, but big words. I'd be more happier if someone just went, "All right, focus now, ADHD. Let's break it down for you. You're going to vote yes because it's going to do this. And if you vote no, it's going to do this."
And see, and
these are your options here.
And this is why I appreciate this website so much, Ballotpedia, is because it lays it out in plain English so that you can actually understand what they're trying to say.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they got these, big, like when they're explaining something or a law or taxes or whatever they're trying to do, they have like 5 pages of it, but like someone reads it and he goes, oh, they were just trying to, like change the color of the sidewalks or something. Like it's something really simple that could be explained in a sentence.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's just, you wasted a lot of ink and a lot of paper just to tell me this,
And what's funny about that is most of these propositions are kind of exactly like that. It's not all that terribly confusing. And so I went through all of them and looked at them, most of them are pretty easy. Like Proposition 1 is allowed to serve as multiple municipal judges amendment. So this amendment would basically say a judge can serve here, but he can also serve here or here or here or anywhere we want it. He can serve in multiple different places. Now, to me, that's a dangerous thing. And so I'm like, of course not. Hell no. One judge, one jurisdiction. Leave it in one. If you start putting one guy in charge of like all these different jurisdictions, then I mean, how many honeypots can one hand really go into? And it's just, imagine a world where one judge happens to be corrupt, right? And so they take this scenario where this judge is corrupt and then they have to throw him out. Well, if we have a corrupt judge in multiple municipalities, we got to throw him out of every single municipality. How many judges then do you have to replace?
And then in that situation, wouldn't you have to throw out a lot of his court cases as well? A lot of the cases he worked on? Or is that for the lawyers?
I think that
we're diving in a little too deep.
You're going a little too deep with the what ifs at that point, but there's a possibility that, certain legalities could be reversed because of, mistrials and whatnot. And that would just open up more of Pandora's box within the legal system. And the legal system's already a mess. So I was just like, what? Proposition 1 is garbage. No, throw it away. Another one that I thought was kind of a no-brainer was Proposition 3. This one is called the Temporary Property Tax Exemption for Disaster Areas Amendment. So basically, a yes vote means, yes, I support this, and no vote means, no, I'm not okay with this. But what the proposition is pushing forward is say when we got hit with that hurricane, Houston got hit with the hurricane, right? So what this would do is it would provide property tax relief for people who are suffering because of hurricanes, because of natural acts of God, or whatever they want to call it. Nature comes in, destroys your house. Well, you know what? We're going to go ahead and give you a property tax exemption on that because you don't have a house. You know what I mean? Like that seems like a pretty ethical thing to do. And so I'm like, yeah, let's go with that.
I can just imagine that conversation. We're taxing you for your house,
but it's gone.
I don't have a house, but you bought a house, but I don't have a house. Okay, where did you put your house, sir?
The hurricane.
Then you just got, you got this weird thing. Harvey took it. Who's Harvey? Where is it? You didn't say anything about this guy.
And this is a large part of the problem that we run into when there's any kind of government. Another one that, so there's some of them that are kind of iffy. So like Proposition 6 is called the Cancer Prevention and Research Institute Bonds Amendment. And this one was trying to assign, I believe it was, or increase the amount of spending that we put towards cancer research from $300,000 to $600,000. And I'm quoting off the top of my head here because I've already voted on these things, but This one I voted no because I'm kind of like, yeah, no, there's an awful lot of money that already kind of goes into big pharma's pocket. I don't think we need to be putting more of it into big pharma. We need to see some real results from this cancer research before you start saying we can put more into it.
Yeah, when you put it that way, yeah. When you word it that way, we need to see some results before we start giving you some more money.
Yeah, that's just my 2 cents on it. So I mean, and people are going to vote differently on it. Cancer affects everybody differently, and so I get it. I understand there's different ethical dilemmas that go along with that. My 2 cents is no. I want to see some results.
That's understandable. I think a lot of people are gonna they're like, well, I want to see where my money's going. I think a lot of people are already thinking that, hey, big pharmaceutical companies and those people like that, they already have a lot of my money. So where are the results?
Yeah. Another big one, and I'm going to cover 3 more actually. I'm going to go to Proposition. Oh my gosh! You know what? Let's just do these next 4. People are voting. We might as well talk about it. So Proposition.
Wow.
Yeah. Proposition 7 was increased distributions to school funds amendment.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I know.
I don't know. It's school stuff. I told you my 2 cents about how the school system should be run. Other than that, I don't know.
Okay. So this one's sketchy as well. But to a different degree. So a yes vote supports this amendment to allow the General Land Office and the State Board of Education to each transfer $600 million from the permanent school funds lands and properties proceeds to available school fund each year. So you're taking from one of the honeypots and you're putting it into another one. Now, I've said this for years. Just because you throw money at a school doesn't mean that the kids are going to come out any more intelligent. In fact, I have yet to see any research that suggests that that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And on a personal level, I think that the school kind of gets enough of my money as it is.
Fair enough. I mean, it's a school. I mean, it's one of those things. It's just like I said, I think we should just kind of step back and be like, okay, let's just take a gander here and see what's going on. And cut the fat off,
Yep.
Or something like that.
So similarly aligned with that is Proposition 8, the Infrastructure Fund Amendment. This one was a tough one because, again, it goes back to the hurricane situation that we had with Houston.
Okay.
All right. Now, a yes vote supports this constitutional amendment to create the Flood Infrastructure Fund, which the Texas Water Development Board would use to provide financing for flood drainage, mitigation, and control projects. A no vote would oppose that, obviously. Okay. This sounds to me like another tax. And I'm not, I'm all for property tax relief, but when you start asking me for money to build a flood infrastructure in order to prepare for something that we should have been prepared for quite some time ago as it is, and we start talking about like, well, we're just going to tax all Texas residents and then build this flood infrastructure on East Texas, because obviously West Texas doesn't get flooded, right? So now you're kind of getting into a gray area here where I'm kind of like, no, I believe that's probably more of a regional problem and not a statewide problem.
And I think another issue is who's going to define what's going to be built for that infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you building? What are you going to build? Where's my money going? What are the specifications? What are the details? What are you going to build? Does that make sense?
It does, because anytime that you open up for new taxes or any kind of new tax proposals, then you have to justify in the budget exactly how that money is spent. Then it has to go through a board. And by the way, you're paying these people on the board in order to decide whether or not something is justified and we can create an expenditure, because it's just like the overhead is astronomical anytime the government gets involved, even in the great state of Texas. So,
I mean, it's the government.
It's the government. Proposition 9. Now, this one I like. I like this one a lot. Okay, so it's not because I'm affected by it, but because it reduces taxes.
Okay.
Texas Proposition 9, precious metals in depositories exempt from property tax amendment. A yes vote does exactly what you would think it does. It allows support for the amendment, which allows the legislature to exempt precious metals held in precious metal depositories from property taxation. A no vote does the exact opposite, and it opens precious metals in these depositories up for property taxation. Why?
I have no idea what any of that meant.
Okay, so let's say you have a bar of gold.
Okay.
And you
in my gun safe?
No, in a
okay, just in general.
You have a bar of gold and you keep it in one of these precious metal depositories.
So it's not on my property; it's somewhere else.
Correct.
Okay.
I don't know whether you're paying the depository or not, or how that works, but that's a different issue. So you're effectively being taxed because you have X amount of precious gold that's being stored in this depository, and it counts as a property tax. In other words, It's like this is part of your household. So a property tax, property taxes are primarily you're being taxed on your home, okay? Because that's the only thing that most people have. That's the only asset that most people have that's of any value. Now, if you possess any kind of precious metals, they're trying to roll that into taxation. I don't know who they is. I haven't read through. I don't know. There's probably support that's listed out somewhere in here. Actually, yeah, there is. There is, no, never mind. It's just the two representatives that are trying to push it through. But the point here is that if you had precious metals, you saved up your money and you bought, say, bullion, gold, silver, platinum, what have you. Well, if you vote no on this proposition, that would open up, or could potentially open up, for the state to tax that gold as if it was part of your assets, like your home.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is. So with Texas Prop 9, I wanted them to be exempt from property taxes because I'm like, no, I was already taxed on the money that I used to buy the gold. Now I'm trying to save some money, prevent inflation, buy some precious metals, and you want to tax me for that too? No. So I voted yes, because yes is kind of like on Prop 4. Yes means no.
Oh. Jeez Louise, I hate that. Can they just be like, listen, focus. Here's your options. Go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And
that's all I want.
From what I understand, a couple of different places have actually handed out clarification cards at the polling places.
Thank God.
Yeah. And I'm not 100% sure if that's statewide, but a buddy of mine who'd already gone and voted, he made sure that that I knew that this was a thing. In fact, he's another guy that does the podcast with us, Downtown Bobby Brown. He said, "Yeah, they gave me a card."
His name?
Yeah, his given name is Bobby Brown.
Downtown Bobby Brown.
I call him Downtown, but yeah,
it's Downtown Bobby Brown.
Well, that's him.
That's all I could think of when you said that.
Yeah, that's him. But he said, they gave me a card, so I knew exactly what I was voting on, and there was no
wow
secrets. You know, it's like you're a voter, you're here, you need to know what's going on. So, and I'm not saying I'm not saying that it's going to be like that statewide, but you in fact, when you go and vote, you're going to have to let me know if that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay. The last proposition that I'm going to talk about is Prop 10. And this one, it's called the Transfer of Care of Law Enforcement Animals Amendment. Don't get too excited. I'm going to explain this to you in plain English. Okay.
You know, I like animals, like dogs.
I know. I love dogs. But okay, so any animal that is property of the state that's used for law enforcement, or basically any service dog, service animal in any facet, as they wind down in their own careers, it's difficult for somebody to just give the dog away to a home that will take care of them later on in their late years, you know?
Yeah.
And so the way that it's worded right now in the state of Texas is that animals are kind of like property of the state. just like a car or other, whatever their property of the state might be utilized to accomplish a certain goal. That's all the animal is they're just one piece of property. So as is right now, like they're legally they're open up to being able to be auctioned off or destroyed or all these different things. Okay, so what Texas Prop 10 does is it says, no, that's garbage. We're going to fix this, and we're going to make it easier to transfer these animals over so that they can live the remaining time of their life out with some dignity. Okay, so it gets rid of all the red tape. It gets rid of all the difficulties that you might have with transferring a dog over to, say, its previous handler or another family who might adopt the dog or whatever. It makes the whole process a lot easier. Okay, so a yes vote supports that amendment to allow the transfer of a law enforcement animal such as a dog or a horse to the animal's handler or another qualified caretaker if the transfer is in the best interest of the animal.
Okay.
And of course, a no is the exact opposite of that. So I don't know who's going to be voting no on that, but there's going to be somebody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, there's always somebody. There's always that one person. It's like, you know what? I'm feeling pretty spry, pretty spicy today. I'm just gonna throw a wrench in everybody's gears and just ruin this good thing.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what we'd be dealing with, is somebody who's just being a jerk.
Jerk.
So that's kind of a basic rundown of some of the more important stuff in my estimation on the ballot. So when you go to cast your ballot, make sure Prop 4 is the big one. Okay. We all love the animals. I'm not taking anything away from Prop 10. I'm not taking anything away from those guys. They're serving honorably, love them to death. But Proposition 4 is the most important one. A vote yes on Prop 4 means no income tax.
I don't know. Some of these laws and some of the stuff they put in, they word it so weird. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on that of them just wording it really weird, like, and making it super long that I can't understand what's going on. And I feel like that's a tactic that's used a lot. I think they've done it before a couple of times with a lot of the bigger ones up at the house and stuff like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I've heard it somewhere that they did it, but it was just kind of like, just hearing it was just kind of like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's just confusing. You're adding, instead of listen to this, I'd rather just go and sit down and drink a beer and watch TV. Like, you're not helping anyone. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty much saying you're wasting a lot of my time. I got better things to do. All this just to change the font on a federal sign or something like that,
Well, and a large part of this, like if you look back at the 2016 election, this is why Donald Trump was elected, because people are so sick of all the BS that goes down in Washington, and even at their state level, they're sick of this. And I'd just as easily be willing to sit down and go, you know what, I don't want to deal with this crap anymore. But at the end of the day, that's what we're all about here at Redtired, is gaining a little bit of extra knowledge and kind of understanding what the problems are that we actually face in society, and we're explaining them out in plain English so that you don't have to struggle with it.
We're dumbing it down for everybody, especially me. I didn't even have to pay for this.
Nah,
yay.
Make sure you listen back to this so that you actually know how to vote, though. I can see that.
I'm gonna be at like, the poll.
I voted no on Prop 4. Bill.
Oh boy.
You were supposed to vote yes. Ah.
I got Rado.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Bill. Are you here to vote today? Hi, I'm Bill. I got a little pin, a note pinned. This is Bill. Help him vote.
Help him vote.
P.S. Prop 4. Tell him to say yes. P.S.S. He has ADHD. P.S.S.S. Asthma too.
Dude, you're gonna have somebody come and tap you on the shoulder and say, "Are you done yet? You've been here for 3 hours."
It's just me shaking.
Can I get another one of those cards that tells me what this says?
Can I get another cookie? I'm really confused.
We don't give out cookies here, sir. This is the voting booth.
I need an adult.
Speaking of adulthood, how's college going?
Oh man, it's super awesome. Actually, today in my my ethics and politics or something class. So criminal justice class. We had the DPS recruiter in today, and he was recruiting for a Department of Public Safety, state troopers. I've seen the whole spiel before. Oh, excuse me. And it's always he had to kind of put it in a fast track today because he had like half an hour. But normally, if he has like an hour and a half, like the whole class period to do it, it's kind of like back in the day. I don't know if high school still does it nowadays, but back in the day when we were in high school, the recruiter for the military would show up and he'd be like, check out this video. It's like a bunch of helicopters blowing up stuff. And you're like, do you want to see the world? Yeah. Do you want to see it while you're in a tank? Look at a tank, And it's just like, you're seeing all this stuff. And like, he's explaining, you'll make all this money and it's all tax free.
Which wasn't actually true. Yeah, you had to be deployed to get tax free.
And you'll get a bed, your own bed. Like, and make like these little things out to be like these really big deals. And like, I remember when I first saw him, he did it. He even had the video of like, those military recruiters have a video doing army stuff, learn cool skills. And it's a guy going through mud, all this stuff, doing it with the DPS. And I was like, you almost got me.
I've heard this. I've seen this video before. It's just they were wearing a different color uniform. I know how this works.
Is this 2008? Where am I? Like I was like, okay, man. But the recruiter guy, he's real big in helping with a lot of the college, working with that. He works with the Criminal Justice Association. I mean, he's a real big part of that. And he's really cool. He's kind of well known around San Angelo, He's actually pretty. He's a funny guy. He was explaining the payment system. You could make bank in the state troopers, make bank, and he was explaining like this is how much you can make, and I'm all the way down here, and he points essentially with the laser pointer at the floor, and he's like, I make so much, I'm not even on this pay scale anymore. He's like, I've been doing this for so long. Well played, Sergeant. Well played. But yeah, that was probably about the high point of my day today. Other than that, I ate some Chick-fil-A and
oh man, somebody's head is exploding right now. He ate Chick-fil-A.
Take him down. 1054.
He hates gay people. How dare he?
I could just imagine the Chick-fil-A employee first day on the job holding the Chick-fil-A sandwich like that went from 0 to 100 real quick. I'm just trying to give you your food.
Yeah, just like chicken sandwiches, man.
What?
And it's funny because Chick-fil-A and Popeyes have been in this little heated thing on social media here lately, and I'm like, they don't even really compare.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you that one. I probably go to Chick-fil-A, especially since it's in the college cafeteria. I probably go to Chick-fil-A a lot more than I do Popeyes. Yeah, I'll guarantee you that I do.
Yeah.
Popeyes, every once in a while, I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to go find me some Popeyes.
Well, so, I have no problem with Popeyes. I think their food is actually really good. In fact, I could go there and just order the biscuits and be happy.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh,
but,
yeah.
But one thing that I have to draw attention to is if you go to Popeyes versus Chick-fil-A, okay, at Chick-fil-A, when you order your food, they're going to say, yes, sir, no, sir, please. Thank you. How can I? They smile at you. I know it's crazy.
They're very polite.
They enjoy their job. They're very well trained. They make sure that every single experience is kind of the same. You expect a certain standard when you go to Chick-fil-A, and you expect to be treated like a person, like with dignity. And now, that being said, when you go to Popeyes, they just kind of like, what's up? Welcome to Popeyes. What do you want? And then they throw their food at you, and then they look at you crazy if you ask for ketchup or something like that. And it's a totally different thing. Like I don't go to Popeyes for the experience. There's no experience tied to it whatsoever.
Nope, nope. Yeah, I remember I used to work at Popeyes. That was like my first job
Really?
in Gillette, Wyoming. That was like the first major job, and the pay was, I was making like $9.50 an hour
That's pretty good for what you were in high
for a
school.
first job. Yeah, first job. A junior. It was not bad at all.
Yeah, that's decent money for a junior in high school.
I mean, and come on. I mean, does it look like I got bills? Does it look like I had a girlfriend back then? No. So I had all this money, and of course I spent it on stupid stuff. But it was, I could totally tell, completely what you're saying. You know, I'm just getting paid to get you your food. If it's fresh, just depends if we cooked it or not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not paying. You're not. It's just based now. Chick-fil-A, I've always heard they get paid really good and they've treated really good. And so, you tend to work a little bit more better if, you get a reward for it.
Yeah, they have a moniker where they've kind of owned that mentality, like you take care of your employees and your employees take care of your customers, which there's a lot of truth to. And
Oh yeah.
and we actually had this discussion not too terribly long ago about Sam's Club.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who don't know, because you don't know anything about Bill yet, Bill is a Sam's Club veteran. He was down there in the trenches for what, 5 years?
5 years, duking it out.
5 years. He ran the photo shop. He was the man. And Bill has seen the good, bad, and the ugly of Sam's Club.
I guess you could say I've seen the good, bad, and the ugly, I guess.
So, but let's compare and contrast to, say, a Walmart. Everybody goes to Walmart. They know exactly what they're going to get.
Oh boy.
They're going to get in, they're going to get out, they're going to have a terrible experience. There's probably going to be like, because even today, there's still like 12 or 13 checkout lines that are actually available, and maybe 2 or 3 of them are actually open. So they really,
on a good day,
there you go. And they really encourage you to go through the self-checkout. Now, Sam's Club took it a step further, and I was telling you about this, and I told Jacob about this, and I was that excited about it because I'm going to bring it up again with the Sam's Club app. If you're a member at Sam's Club and you download their app, you can scan your stuff and go. You don't have to wait in line. That's literally what it's called, scan and go. You don't have to wait in line. You don't have to diddly do with any of the technology. You don't have to deal with an angry cashier or whatever. It's plain and simple. They are ready to rock.
Yeah. It's literally called Scan and Go. I mean, you just put in your card information. I mean, it's a pretty secured site. I haven't heard any issues with it. I've done stuff like that before. I like it. And it is really good. It is really good. The only line that you would have to ever wait in is the line to exit. And when that guy will scan your phone, he'll be like, beep, beep, scan it. That's the final, like, oh, all right, transaction. That's the transaction. Boom, you've paid. Get on out of here and rule the world. Get on out there. Carpe diem. And that's it. Scan and go.
Makes it easy. Makes it simple.
Yeah.
So my personal perspective, I feel like when you make things simpler, and it may be that they're learning something from Amazon. Okay. When you make things simpler, i.e. the process of buying groceries, because everybody's got to buy groceries. And for me, the Sam's Club is right down the road from my house, whereas the Walmart is like 5 miles away. So which one am I going to go to? I mean, it's a rarity where I actually have an emergency to the level that I need to go to Walmart right now. That almost never happens. And so if I need milk in the morning, I'll just go hit up the Sam's Club and I'll scan my stuff. I'll not have to deal with there's this crazy lady. All right. She works there and she's the associate that oversees the self-checkout. And
one of those people.
She saw one day that I was buying dog food and it went into this 10-minute little ordeal where she was talking about all the problems that her dog was having with its hair falling out. And then she started showing me pictures of it. And I'm like, hey, that guy right there needs help with the system. I don't mean to be rude. Your dog is cute and all, but you probably shouldn't be wasting your time trying to show me pictures of your dog when that guy clearly needs some help and he's waiting on you. He's getting annoyed. So that whole customer service experience, it really matters. And
Yeah.
we're teaching, whether people like it or not, we're teaching an entire generation to scan their own groceries. And it's, and so many people are like, well, it just gets rid of jobs. It destroys jobs. Really?
Yeah.
Does it really? Because my argument is when you free up somebody from this side of it to where they're not actually scanning groceries, then you can allot that person to some other more important task, like, oh, I don't know, say the photo lab or the pharmacy. You can train them up on something that they could actually use to better themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of, I think that's where they're trying to go with it. And I mean, it kind of the whole Sam's Club, you're paying for a better quality of experience, I guess. A lot of people when they go into Sam's Club, it's they're like, oh hey, Sam's Club, where it's Walmart, it's like, I gotta go into Walmart, you know. I mean, whenever we go to Sam's Club when I'm down there, it's like, oh man, let's go check out Sam's Club. Let's go check out down. Let's go down this aisle. I want to see what they got, you know. Whereas in Walmart, it's like, it's here. It's still here. Like, we're still inside it. Yeah, I don't really think that Scan and Go app's going to get rid of jobs anytime soon, because I think someone somewhere is just going to need someone to talk to.
That's true. And there is an entire generation of people that have been buying their groceries and interacting with the cashier for the last 50 years. And they think that they're taking away a solid labor job. And I'm like, they're not paying, they're not making that much.
Yeah.
They're not growing.
It's
like,
not that.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You can count money. You've learned an adult skill. No, they need, you need expansion. You need to move them to other places where they can be more effective and actually grow as better employees. That's the whole purpose of having these entry level jobs in the first place.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that would, definitely open up us to go to, because there's always someone that's like, hey, I need help over here in the cat litter department. Which one's the best cat litter?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I've literally stood next to the cat litter and a guy walked up to me and he went, excuse me, where's the cat litter? And I was like, there. And he was like, all right, God bless. And he, we could always use more people on the floor. People making a big deal of it, I don't necessarily think it's too much to worry about. I mean, you're not, Sam's Club, when I was there, they were, if your area was not busy at all, they would have been like, oh, okay, well, let's send you to go fold clothes somewhere else. So,
one of the things that you and I talked about recently was somebody coming up to you while you were in the photo lab and saying, hey, can you go open some more registers? There's people that need to check out.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So it wasn't when I was in the photo lab area. I was just happened to be walking by and I got the white lab coat on. I'm 6'5". I'm pretty.
You stand out a little bit.
I'm pretty like, look at that weirdo. Like, you could spot me pretty easy. And I was walking, and the photo lab's never really truly, I don't have lines in the photo lab. It's pretty easy area for the most part. And all these lines, again, at Sam's Club, of course. And, you hear someone be like, hey, excuse me, can you open up a register? No, sir, I cannot open a register. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. I really can't. You have to go get money. You have to assign something. You have to assign a cash register drawer. You have to assign me a set of numbers to get into the register.
There's a process.
You have to get someone to unlock it. You have to do all this stuff. And then I will have to be, I'm accountable for that money if something were to go wrong. So like, no, I can't. Sorry, sir. And then, people are like, well, I paid for the, okay, you did pay for it. But also, this isn't my area. Okay. I can go check you out in the photo lab. But again, I'm kind of limited there because my counter space is like a 3x3 little block. And if you come up with 500 packets of ketchup, I ain't going to be able to help you. like I could help you with a couple things, but nothing really big.
Yeah, it's a strange, we live in really a strange culture where, because I think the pendulum has swung to a degree where people are like, I'm paying for this service and they have this idea that they're paying like a premium price. I'm like, no, you pay Like with the Sam's Club membership, you can get in for $40 a year. That's not premium.
Yeah, people. There's definitely a lot of that attitude that would go around, and it's just customers. You're always gonna have that one customer. It's gonna be like, I want to complain about the floors not sparkling or something like that. They're always going to complain, and I think the Sam's Club membership was kind of one of their platforms. Like, I pay for it. I paid for a better experience. Well, sir, you're technically getting it. It's just taking a little bit longer to do.
And they are getting a better experience because, comparatively speaking, go to the Walmart. Or here's another one. Competitively speaking, go to the Sam's Club across the street. Oh, that's right. You can't. There's only one. And there's no Costco.
Yeah.
So there's no competition. So it's like you are getting what I guess to a degree you're getting a premium service because you're not forced to go to Walmart, but it's not as premium as you're probably expecting. Like this isn't some kind of a 5-star hotel where they're going to lay a pillow down and put a mint on it. And no, you grab your cart, you buy your groceries, and you get the hell out. It's not that complicated.
I mean, and they always would drill in our head. We're like, well, the customer, they called it members because we're Sam's Club, so they're members. So it's always like, well, the customer comes first. Okay, definitely, we can put them first. So they always want us to take that extra step, and I would always try to help them assist them the best way I can. But every once in a while, you'll just run into that issue where you're like, I can't help you with that, and they'll be like, okay, and I'll be like, sir, you're getting,
and then they get the kind of copping attitude.
Yeah, let me speak to your manager.
All right, go ahead. Hey,
okay.
Hey, Raul, are you done with your homework? This guy wants to talk to you.
Yeah. It's retail. You're always going to have someone that's complaining about something.
Yeah, and it's a shame because for the most part, platforms like Costco and Sam's Club, they're really great.
Oh man, I liked working there. To an extent.
I actually spoke to my brother because he's a Costco member. I think they have a Sam's Club where he lives now, but I'm not sure. But he's been Costco trained, so he's got a membership at Costco, and so we're always kind of like competing back and forth. Like, is your warehouse membership better than mine, or is mine better than yours?
Wow. I thought y'all had a better life than that.
We always tease each other about everything, Apple versus Android. We used to
seems like you're just like, we have nothing exciting going on. So let's talk about the retail stores we go to and complain about which is better.
It's a competitive spirit. We just have the competitive spirit. But that was one of the discussions that came up recently. I said, does Costco have this feature in their app? Because Sam's Club has this thing where I can scan and go, and I don't have to interact with any of the cashiers now. I skip the lines. I mean, I'm in and out in 10 minutes. It makes me very happy. He goes, I don't know. I never downloaded the app. Let me take a look. Oh, the Costco app only has 2 stars. I'm not going to waste my time looking.
Oh, yep. That pretty much answers the question for the most part, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, my brothers and you and your brothers were actually not far removed from each other. If we got all 6 of us together in one room, somebody would leave bleeding, most likely.
It's either going to be like really dumb or nothing will happen because that's too much work and we're feeling lazy right now. I feel like that would be...
no, something dumb would happen because... So there's no way around this.
All right, you got me. I was trying to sugarcoat it, but okay, yeah.
Well, because you're a high energy fella, okay? All right, you're a high energy guy, right? And I've been in a room where it's all TenEycks, and I got to admit, man, when you guys get together, it kind of escalates for all of you, and I'm kind of the same way with my brothers. When we get into a room, it's like the zingers start flying. It would be...
Well, they're not zingers. I'm just like, idiot, nerd. Like, it's not a zinger. It's just a name.
Well, for us, it is zingers. We do take it to kind of a crazy level. And it might not be that way for everybody, and that's fine. But I can imagine putting all 6 of us into a room together, it would be kind of... somebody would walk out with emotional problems.
Probably Jake. We'll probably...
It might have been. If he called me stupid...
Yeah, well, it's Jake. He probably start to try to aim it towards me, but then it was like, you're in the Air Force? Why don't you back up?
Ooh, I've been to the desert, Bill.
Yeah. Mom actually made fun of him the other day. Yeah. And she said, I said something. It's like, yeah, I was deployed. And it was in reference to the brothers or something. And she said, Jake's been deployed. And I kind of had that look like the meme, of that guy, like, am I a joke to you? Like, I was looking at her like, am I a joke to you? And she's like, Las Vegas. It's deployed to Las Vegas.
Yeah, Las Vegas. That's a.
Because he was technically deployed there for that training exercise in the casinos.
Well, we had a totally different name for that. It was when you would go on TDY. That's what we called it. Mm-hmm. But I guess the Air Force just calls it deployment. We're going to put.
I call it business trips.
We're going to put you up in the Hilton. Here, have a ribbon.
That's Hilton. It's actually not on a hill. It's actually right next to the airport. Air conditioned. You'll absolutely love it.
He's going to get there and he's like, DoubleTree. Ugh. I thought this was going to be the Hilton. No, I'm calling my chain of command and I'm going to complain about this.
I think the first time I ever had to really deal with Air Force quality of life was a friend of mine in my squad had to go to Ramstein from Velsic. It's probably about a 4-hour trek for us for medical reasons. So he drove down there. And so it was like, well, you got to have a battle buddy. And I was just it was kind of one of those things that it's kind of one of those things he was telling my squad leader at the end of the day, with the squad all there. And they're like, you got to have a battle buddy. And I'm just kind of in the back, just like on my phone, not knowing what's going on. And they're like, hey, TenEyck, you're going to Ramstein.
What?
And so, huh? But we went down there and they're like, well, we got to get to the hotel. We literally went into like a Hilton or some hotel. And there was an Air Force person and her class blues with the ribbons and everything. And I was like, I just wanted to look at her and be like, is this your MOS hotel receptionist? Do they do this? Is this a thing? Wow. like, what else do you guys have back there?
You guys are weird.
Wow. Yeah. You guys make fun of us. Jeez, nerds.
What did you get? I got this award right here. I got this award for folding the towels correctly.
Yeah. What was it, The Simpsons? It was like, nice ribbons, nerd. Hey, I got this one for guarding the parking lot. Yeah. Oh man, yeah. It was it's definitely something. I would the Air Force is yeah, but we always make fun of them. I always call his deployments business trips. How was your business trip? I mean a deployment.
Shut up.
Shut up, Bill.
I had to sleep in a tent.
Yeah, he actually did that too. Going through the military, joining the Army, me, that's the most physical and emotional experience that anyone could go through. So you got a bunch of stuff just flying around at you all at once. It's it's something. It's something.
I noticed you caught yourself there. I appreciate that because that just means that I don't have to edit that out. So thank you for that.
It's a lot of stuff.
It's all a bunch of bullshit stuff.
Stein.
Bullstein.
But
there you go. That's Bullstein.
But you have the FTX, so you got all this stuff going on. FTX last field training exercise for basic training. You're like, go put all the stuff you learned into practice, and then you're just kind of like, this way, I don't know what's going on here. Help me. I don't know. I'm a private. So like you're doing all this stuff. You're cold. You're just sitting there. It's all everything. In fact, I remember when I was on my FTX, Jake, who left for basic training for the Air Force, like 4 weeks after I had left for basic training for the Army, he had left for his, and he was in San Antonio, Texas. And I remember just being there on guard on the FTX, my little hasty foxhole. Jake graduates today from the Air Force. And it just was like, by now, Mom and Dad will be pulling up in the warm truck, stepping outside to eat a nice warm breakfast. Like Jake will be in his warm coat, hugging mom and dad. And so like, there's all that. Well, finally I get back, I get out, we're talking, it's like a month later. He's like, yeah, my FTX, the heater broke in the tent. I was like, you had a tent? What? Yeah. Yeah. We also had to bring our food out to us. This was great.
The heater?
Why, you didn't?
They had a heater?
Yeah. Yeah. They had like a heater. They had a tent. I was like, oh, great.
Oh.
This is actually happening.
Okay.
It was the argument again of, I put my plates in my plate carrier this time, Bill. What?
I've been to the desert.
Oh, boy. Good old Jake. Good old Jake.
What a world we live in where the military gets heaters in basic training.
All right. Or cell phones now. I think the Air Force gets their cell phone in base training. I told you about the story when Jake got when I was trying to set up a body armor for Jake.
Yes.
Right. And okay. All right. Should I tell it?
Go right ahead.
Oh man, it was great. I just, oh boy, it was like one of those moments where I'm sure you have them with me all the time where you're like, sport, look at you. You kind of pat him on the head and the shoulder. Carpe diem.
Yeah.
But he had gotten it.
I've had a few of those. And by the way, for those of you listening, when Bill says carpe diem, he's actually trying to say carpe diem. It's kind of hard to explain, but he's a very animated character. He gets a little excited and he gets kind of ahead of himself and can't really get his words out right. So just get used to that.
And for those of you who don't know, I don't care because I'm a rebel. But
I wasn't saying it was a bad thing. I'm just explaining.
Anyway,
don't get emotional.
Again. Jake had gotten this, and he was visiting from the Air Force or something like that, his hotel, wherever, the Bahamas, and he brought it, and he's like, "Look, Bill, look what I got, body armor." I'm like, "I'm out of the Army. I've been out for a couple of years." Hey, man, Jake, that's cool, man. Hey, cool. Let's see it. Let's bust it out. Let's take a gander at that thing, huh? Let's see if it can't take a bullet or two. And so he's like setting it up. I'm like, all right, you gotta do this. It just kind of, the more I looked at it, I was like, oh boy, Jake, you really kind of, is this what the Air Force taught you? Because Molly wasn't really strapped in all the way, and it's Molly, so somehow he messed that up. And he put his plates in, and they were just kind of jingling around in his little vest. And I was like, okay, Jake, this isn't how this works at all. And I'm like, it's got a strap in here being fastened down, and then he tightened it up, and he finally just went, Bill, I had plates in my plate carrier last time I was in the in the desert. I know what I'm doing. And I went, okay, good job. And I just kind of went in my room and played my video games. I'm like, he's testament to the Air Force, best of the brightest.
Oh boy, I'm sure Jake's going to be thrilled that you told that story in the public forum. So Bill,
what a nerd!
So Bill, we got to end this, and I usually try to keep these things under an hour. I want to fill you in on a couple of things before we go. One of those is thanks for joining me. I'm really glad to have you along, and we're trying to, I guess, expand this and make it not so much all veterans, but anybody who can bring something to the table, anybody who can bring something to the conversation.
Kind of like multiple,
yeah. We try to bring multiple facets to the conversation and get different perspectives. And yours has always been kind of an interesting one to me. You're very perplexing to me at times, and so anything that can make me a better person by trying to understand somebody else's perspective, I'm all for it. So, thanks for showing up. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks for inviting yourself.
I'm happy to have friends.
Yeah, we had it, and we'll end on this. You had a conversation with me. You were like, yeah, I'd really like to be on that podcast, but I didn't want to invite myself. And I was like,
I don't know what.
Why didn't you just say something? Like, here you are. I would have had you on any time that you wanted to.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. I get to talk into a microphone. I love talking. I'm
important. Maybe I'll find a girlfriend.
Hey, one small bite at a time, okay?
Aww.
The other thing is I always like to end this podcast with a little piece of advice. And for anybody who's ever heard it before, they already know what's coming. But I'll tell you, just like I tell everybody else, we like to end this podcast with one little catchphrase. It's fun, it's endearing, it's enjoyable, and it's something that everybody can benefit from. And that's to do some freaking push-ups.
Oh,
got him. Bill, you're a really animated guy. You know that?
Yeah.
I can't help but notice that you like to do a lot of this flailing of the arms and things, and yeah, that stuff. But there's also that other side of it where I see you and you start getting a little animated, and then the camera starts shaking, and we'd love having you.
You know what, Jeremy? I'm getting sick of your attitude.
All right, everybody.
Just because you run a podcast.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Redtired Podcast. Thanks, Bill.
God bless.